There's a little step you have to take in the beginning. It's like a mental exercise. I'll show you how. So you start with closing your eyes, open your eyes, and just face front. Face front, tunnel vision, focus on your journey. Don't worry about what everybody else around you is doing. Focus on you. Hi everyone, my name is Tabitha. Welcome to Tabby Talk. This is my 10 for 10 series where I talk about how I paid off $10,000 worth of debt and also saved $10,000. Getting right into it. Today I'll be breaking down the different methods of paying off your debt and also letting you know what methods I use and that worked for me. If you're a resident in the United States of America, you're probably very familiar with having debt. You either have big debt, little debt, some kind of debt, or maybe you have no debt at all because you've taken the steps to change this for yourself. Having debt in its own is a challenge, and paying it off is also a challenge. And there is no saying that paying off your debt will never bring you back to having debt. My goal moving on with my life now that I am debt free is never having bad debt again that is out of my control. Now, if you have debt, don't beat yourself up. It is normal. It is a little too normal to have debt in America. I know that at some point in the near future, I will probably get into debt, but not the kind of debt that I got out of. If I was to get into debt again, it would be taking out money towards bigger investments like a business or a mortgage with control, knowing that I have plans to pay that off. I am well educated on having debt and getting out of debt, so I am very comfortable in taking big steps to take out a loan or a repayment to something beneficial to my future. I actually made it a goal to get out of debt because I don't like owing people. I have never liked owing people, whether big or small, a person, an agency. I don't like owing people. As of this very moment today, no one can knock at my door and tell me that I owe them money, and that makes me very happy. When you have the goal of getting out of debt or saving, whatever it is, you have to be very focused on your destination. You cannot let lifestyle creep deter you from the goals that you have already set for yourself, and you cannot be concerned about what everybody else is doing around you. To start tackling your debt, the first step you're going to take is making a list of all the debt that you have. When I had the goal of clearing off my debt, I actually didn't know how much debt I had. I broke down all my accounts from credit cards to loans. I wrote down the amounts on each of this, and that was when I realized how much debt I had. And I was shook. You have to be very detailed when listing your debt. You need to list the name of the account, the amount of the debt, the interest on this debt. What kind of debt is it? Is it a loan? Is it a credit card? Get all the information necessary and write that down. Don't forget that Klarna charge either. That's also debt. Now, the next step after you've listed your debt is reviewing your budget. Before you start making drastic changes to your finances, you have to review your budget to look at where you are and see what is possible for you. Review your budget and prioritize what's important, and also look at where you can cut down spending. Maybe you realize you might not need to get your nails done every 2 weeks after all. Maybe you can learn how to do it yourself. Maybe you don't need to change your hair every week. Or maybe you delete Uber Eats from your phone and DoorDash and learn to cook your own meals for the meantime. Trust me, telling myself I had to cut down getting my nails done every 2 weeks was very hard, but I am so happy that I did that because now I can choose to do that without losing anything. It was a sacrifice well worth it. Paying off your debt is not a sprint. You definitely need time in this process and patience. I think everything that I talk about on this channel, I always mention time and patience. Maybe in everything in life, you really do need time and patience after all. So now that we have our debt listed out and you've reviewed your budget and you know where you are and what you need to do, we can get on to the methods of paying off your debt. These are the 3 important methods of paying off your debt. The first method is the Snowball Method. The Snowball Method is where you list your debt from the smallest amount to the largest amount, regardless of the interest rate. You gather the money that you can, whether that be from the new job that you get or your extra income that you have, whatever money you can put towards paying off that debt, you focus on paying the smallest debt off completely. Once you've paid your smallest debt off, you go to the next one. Whatever amount of money you've been putting into that small debt, put it towards the next debt. While following the snowball method, don't forget to keep making minimum payment on all your debt. You want to avoid penalties. Now, the goal with the snowball method is while you're making the minimum payments on the other debt that you have, you're making more than the minimum payment on that smallest debt at the top and clearing it off completely and getting down to the next one. A lot of people like this method because it boosts some kind of motivation in you. Seeing that you're actually clearing off your debt makes you even more eager to clear off everything on the list. The Avalanche method is arranging your debt from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. To make this very clear, the Avalanche method is not the opposite of the snowball method because the snowball is arranging the debt by the amount. However, the Avalanche method is arranging it by interest rate. Your smallest debt might have the highest interest rate, or maybe your largest debt has the highest interest rate. Whatever it is, you're arranging it by the highest interest rate to tackle. The Avalanche method is said to save you more money in the long run because the debt with the highest interest rate is what costs you more money over time because the interest adds up. And the last method is the debt consolidation. This is where you take out a very low interest loan and pay off all your debt. Your debt is gone, so the interest is not adding up anymore. However, you still have that loan that you took out to pay off. To follow this method, you have to make sure you're taking a very low interest loan. Now, I am not a financial expert, so I cannot tell you what method to take or what method is best for you. However, I will tell you what methods I used and what worked for me. Like with anything else that I say here, please do your own research and make your decision based on what you want to achieve. For my case, I followed the debt consolidation method at first and then the snowball method. I'll tell you why I followed two methods. Now, young Tabby was really ready to be debt free. With not a lot of knowledge, I did not do as much research as I should have. And I took out a very low interest loan from a credit union, which was really beneficial. I paid off all my debt and it felt so nice to see zero balance on all my credit cards and just all the debt that I owed. But as I mentioned, I was young and naive. After I took out this debt consolidation loan and paid off all my credit card interest, oh, life happened. Your phone pings and someone is inviting you on a trip, or you see that dress you want to buy and your credit card is on zero balance. So why not? So I lost track. I went back into a little bit of credit card debt. It wasn't as bad as the first time. It really wasn't. But now I had more credit card debt and the debt consolidation loan to pay off. And that was when I decided to use the snowball method. Of course, my smallest debt was my credit card debt. And the largest debt I had was that debt consolidation loan. So I saved up as much as I could. I paid off all my credit cards and I started tackling the debt consolidation loan that I took out. While paying off my debt consolidation loan, I made sure to keep my credit card balance on zero at all times. I was not shy about my debt payoff journey at all. I was very vocal when I couldn't do things because it wasn't in my budget for the month, or when I can't run a charge on my credit card because I plan to have that card on zero balance. So for me, if I didn't have the money, I wasn't spending it. If the money is not in my debit, it's not getting run on the credit, okay? As you go through this journey, don't forget to celebrate your wins. Making a goal of being debt-free is a huge goal for anyone. It's not easy to get out of debt, especially when you got into debt at a young age and not being educated enough on being financially smart. Give yourself a pat on the back because taking the goal to be debt-free means you're bettering yourself in more ways than you actually realize. Like I always say when I talk about financial topics, I am not a financial expert. I am not a financial analyst. I am just a student of life who loves learning and sharing knowledge learned. With everything that I've shared here today, please do additional research and even find out if this is what you want for yourself. Feel free to ask me any questions you might have. I am more than happy to answer. and find out for you if need be.